Most young people don't pay any attention to politics. That is until a politician comes along and does something like take away their TikTok. Then they're like,
WTH, Prez, why you throwing shade on the talk?
and also, what's an executive order? Well, you're going to find out in today's episode. My name is Joshua Roberts, attorney at law, and you are watching Lawyer Up. Today we're going to take a look at this recent executive order from President Trump, which may ultimately end up with TikTok being taken off of your phone and you being unable to use it. So we're going to look at what executive orders are, and then we're going to look more specifically at this executive order aimed at TikTok. If you enjoy the video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you've got a question or a comment, put it in the comment sections below. If you want to learn more about the law or legal topics, then subscribe to the channel, and as always, share me on social media. So what are executive orders? Really, executive orders are declarations by the President of the United States without the approval of Congress. So in actuality, they are little more than the statement or the declaration by the Chief Executive Officer of the United States, the President. Now, executive orders are not law, although they have the force and effect of law, which is a little confusing. So let me explain. Now, when we're talking about a law, we're talking about a bill that was introduced in Congress, either in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. And then that bill will pass one chamber by a majority vote, move over to the other chamber, and also pass by a majority vote in that chamber. Once both chambers of Congress have approved a bill, it goes up to the president for either signature or veto. If the president signs the bill, it then becomes law. So this process is much more involved than simply issuing an executive order. The significance is to undo a law, you have to go through the same basic process that the bill went through to become law. So to change a law, it has to have approval of Congress, both the House and the Senate, and then be signed by the President. To undo an executive order doesn't require this process. An executive order can be undone or eliminated simply by the stroke of the pen of a successor president. We saw this when Trump was elected. He removed or eliminated a lot of executive orders of President Obama. So an executive order is much easier to put into place. It's also much easier to eliminate. Now, executive orders were designed to be used in crisis or emergency situations where the president doesn't have time to consult Congress. And these are generally wartime situations, or a situation like when a bunch of planes crash into the World Trade Center on 9/11. You don't have time to talk to Congress and debate it and have it go between two chambers. You need to have the ability to act fast. And that was the framers of the Constitution's idea when they put in the idea of executive orders. However, presidents have used them in a lot of different situations that were not necessarily emergencies. Probably the most famous executive order was Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, wherein he declared slavery illegal. Now, it was primarily symbolic at the time because the country was in the middle of the Civil War. However, we did see that proclamation come to fruition. Some of the other significant executive orders that have stayed with us include FEMA and the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. Both of those organizations were created by executive order. So the question is, why would the president enter an executive order against TikTok? Well, the stated reason is, and I'll just read the quote to you, the Chinese Communist Party has demonstrated the means and the motive to use apps to threaten national security, foreign policy, and the U.S. economy. Now, the government really hasn't given us any specifics on what they allege that the Chinese government is doing, other than saying that these apps provide them with personal information and financial information of American citizens. And for the record, TikTok has denied that they're doing this, but of course, they would. Some claim that President Trump is just going after the Chinese-owned TikTok, either as a vendetta for COVID-19 or because TikTok users snatched up all of those tickets at the Tulsa rally and then didn't appear. So people have accused Trump of using this executive order to get back at them. However, interestingly, India, the country of India, they issued the exact type of executive order back in July of 2020. And they cited the exact same reasons, that the Chinese government was getting personal information and financial information from their citizens from the TikTok app. And recall back in August when President Trump gave them an ultimatum. And this was to the owners of the companies, that is Tencent and ByteDance, who own TikTok and WeChat, the other app that's involved in this executive order. And the ultimatum was that they had to sell the American arm of these apps to an American company. That would guarantee that the company wasn't selling the information to the Chinese government. And they negotiated with both Microsoft and Oracle, and TikTok ultimately agreed to partner with Oracle, and that announcement was made in mid-September. However, President Trump rejected that. He said, "We're not doing any partnerships. You have to sell the American arm of TikTok whole hog to an American company, or else no deal." So on September 18th of 2020, an executive order banning TikTok and WeChat was entered. And the ban applies to, again I quote, TikTok's apps, codes, software, updates, and it also applies to any payments associated with the app WeChat. Now this ban, obviously it only applies to American users. However, that's a big deal. There are 100 million Americans that have TikTok downloaded to their phones. And WeChat has over 19 million transactions a day from American users. So the actual effect of this executive order is that the ability to download TikTok onto your phone will be ended on September 20th of 2020, with a total ban on any usage put in place by November 2nd of 2020. This means that if something doesn't happen, the TikTok app will disappear from your phone on November 2nd, 2020. And presumably during the next 45 days, that will give TikTok and WeChat an opportunity to completely sell their companies to an American arm, if that's what they choose to do. So will the executive order take TikTok away from you? Well, you're just gonna have to stay tuned and find out. Thank you for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you got something to say, comment below. If you want to know more about the law and these types of topics, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I love it when you share me on social media. My name is Joshua Roberts, attorney at law, and you've been watching Lawyer Up.
Send lawyers, guns, and money. Dad, get me out of this.